So Matt, first off, before we get into fighting here, you are a huge New York sports fan, and honestly, a lot of fighters you talk to are not big team sports fans or stick and ball sports fans, but you obviously are. It seems like the Mets are probably your biggest team above all. Maybe I'm wrong, but it seems like that's the one that's kind of like that really drives the steamroller.
Yeah, been a lifelong Mets fan. I was born into it. Mets, Jets, Islanders. Those are my teams.
Now, obviously, a lot's changed since Steve Cohen, the Mets owner, he made it out to Jersey for your win over Drew Dober. How are you feeling about the Mets right now? Because things didn't go so well the rest of the year, but there's obviously a new season on the horizon later.
Yeah, it was definitely a rough season. We had such high hopes this season. Didn't work out, but with Steve Cohen at the helm, he said he made the tough decisions that the Wilpons probably wouldn't have made, and kind of had to just deal with this season and look for the future. With Steve Cohen, I know that he's going to get a competitive team out there next season, and we'll be in the playoffs and getting to the World Series soon enough.
Sure, sure. Now, I believe the last two fights of yours, you walked to the cage to Timmy Trumpet and owed to Mets closer Edwin Diaz, who obviously missed the last year too, which didn't help. But it's starting to be your signature song too. I know you've been using it on social media for giveaways and things like that. Is this going to be your thing going forward, like always, or might you still switch it up?
No, this is my song now, man. I love it. Uh, I love the song. I love Timmy Trumpet, and I think it's just such a great fight song. Whenever I hear it, I just get like bullfighter vibes, and I just dials me in, and the crowd loves it. I love it, and I'm definitely sticking with it.
So when are we going to complete the whole Mets ensemble that you got going on here? When are we going to see a blue and orange Venom kit for you?
Yeah, we'll see. I know we were throwing out some teasers to it, but we'll see. I've been rocking the red shorts, and the red shorts have been doing me well. But some blue and orange shorts, man, that would be sweet.
Sure, sure, and very signature too, because obviously nobody's got that. But your next fight next month, of course, back at Madison Square Garden. It's your third time there. Also, your third straight fighting in the New York metropolitan area. Are you waiting for like home cage advantage at this point? Are you just waiting to get these home games in?
Yeah, I love it. I'm a Long Island kid, born and raised, and I love like putting on for the Northeast people. And whenever the UFC comes to Madison Square Garden every year, they give me the call and they want me on the card. And I love representing the New York people and the Long Island people, and putting on great fights.
Are you looking to get more than two fight? Because you've kind of been a two fight a year guy most of your career. Are you looking to get a third fight in anytime soon? Or are you pretty much comfortable with this twice a year deal?
Yeah, I always want to try to get 3 fights a year. Um, but my body doesn't always cooperate. So, but I always take, one fight at a time. I got this big fight November 11th. I got to handle business, and then we see how next year goes. But I definitely want 3 fights next year.
And you're carrying a 3 fight win streak into that, all first round finishes with your fists. I feel like it would surprise people to know that before this little streak here, you only had one knockout victory as a pro. That was came in your second pro fight. Where is this power coming from all of a sudden? What's changed the last few years?
Yeah, a lot of people just think I got power in my hands and stuff, but they forget that my wrestling and my jujitsu is really what got me to the dance. Um, I think it's Coach Ray Longo. Ray Longo really wanted me to dial in on my boxing, and I've been just doing whatever he says. Training with such high level training partners. With the Sarah Longo fight team, and my striking is just gotten to that next level. I always knew I had that power, but now I'm really dialing it in and able to land these shots.
Now, are you falling in love with the power? Some people fall in love with the power, maybe a little too much. Are you able to kind of take it in spurts, or are you kind of like just drunk off of it now?
It feels pretty good knocking out three guys in a row in the first round, but I'm not gonna lie. But no, I know what got me to this dance was my wrestling and my jiu-jitsu, and I love every aspect of mixed martial arts, and I love mixing them all up. My last three fights did end in first round knockouts, but the game plan was to use my wrestling and my jiu-jitsu. So every fight I always prepare for wherever the fight will go in every aspect of mixed martial arts, and I'm prepared for it all.
It surprised me to learn as I was doing a little research on you, just to learn a little bit more about you, that you turned pro 9 years ago, but you really didn't have your third fight until like 2.5 years after that. Like, what was life like for you early in your career before we all had heard of the Steamrolla?
Yeah, I was living down in Tampa back then, and I had like five or six fights like fall out on me and get canceled and whatnot, and that happens to a lot of guys. A lot of like pros right now are like having trouble finding fights, and the fights fall through, and it's just part of the process. Every fighter goes through it. You think that once you go pro, it'll be easier to find fights because you're fighting other professionals. But a lot of these guys, they're not as professional as you would think they would. They pull out, they miss weight. The organization it could be a little sketchy. So yeah, I remember that time. It was frustrating, but I stayed training and I stayed the course, and we're here now.
And you were in Tampa. I believe you went to University of Tampa, correct?
Yeah, I graduated from University of Tampa back in 2013.
And this was related to you enlisting in the Army Reserves, correct?
Yeah, I did the ROTC program at University of Tampa, and I graduated and got a commission as a lieutenant in the reserves.
So are you still an active member of the reserves? Like, how do you kind of balance that if that's part of your life still?
No, I'm out now. I did 8 years in the reserves. As you can see, growing my hair out finally. but but yeah, it was good. My unit was very supportive of my my career, and they were pumped that they had a UFC fighter on in their unit, and you know I would train, I would fight, and then I would drill to my unit one weekend every month, and 2 weeks in the summer, and it was good.
When did you leave? When was the end of your 8 years?
I actually just got out.
Oh, okay. When was that? Was that just a couple months ago, or?
Yeah, well, I just got my final paperwork, and I'm officially out. Got a nice honorable discharge as a captain, and it was a fun part of my life. I always thought that it was an option. That I would go on some deployments and try to go active duty, but my fighting career was just going so well. I was obsessed with it, and it's all I wanted to do. Is all my focus, and I was proud that I was able to serve my country in a small way, and be able to still pursue my dreams as a professional fighter.
Sure, and congratulations to you as well on the honorable discharge and everything. Going back to the Dober fight, I want to get back to this here. That was definitely your most high profile win to date. It was, you were able to, even though you kind of kept you on the outside of the fence for a lot of the fight, a lot of it was going your way. You're landing. Obviously, you land that huge right that changes the entire fight. But you really have this knack of getting your offense off, your power off when you're backed up against the fence. We've seen in other fights. Why is that such a good spot for you?
I'm always moving. I'm always you got to be able to land your shots moving forward, moving backwards, and that's the most deadly strikers are able to land these shots. Whether you're moving forward or moving backwards, and that's again, Ray Longo. We do movement every day, movement drills every day, and just being deadly everywhere, always being able to land the shots. I always want to be in control of the octagon, but against a lot of these aggressive opponents, I have to use my movement use my feints, and pick my shots when the openings come.
What else was working for you so well that night? Because again, you even before that, like you were finding a home. He was bloodied up. You could I was sitting cage side. I could have some good views of it, and you were definitely getting your offense off really well.
Yeah, we were prepared for him. He I knew Drew really likes to back people up against the cage and unload his shots there. So I knew my lateral movement had to be on point, and I couldn't just sit there with my back against the cage and let him unload. So my movement was on point, and my southpaw attacks are dialed in, and just so happens we have another southpaw November 11th.
Obviously, things went really well for you that night. You got a great result. Performance of the night bonus too, which had to be nice. What other lessons did you take away from that fight? That you can kind of use in your career moving forward.
I think just Drew Dober has the most knockouts in the lightweight division, and just knowing that I can hang with these top dogs, and I'm one of them now. Just kind of believing in myself. Uh, knowing that on my best day I could knock out anybody in the world, I could submit anybody in the world, I could beat anybody in the world, and going in there and doing that to Drew Dober, someone who's never been knocked out in the UFC and has an amazing resume, and now getting ranked. I'm starting to really believe in my abilities and believe that I belong and have I truly have championship potential.
Sure, sure. And that was also the win that got you in the UFC ranking. So this is, it's a new step in your career, of course, as well. The last this time out, though, of course, you're facing Benoit Saint-Denis. He is not ranked. But if you look at, kind of the all promotion rankings that are out there, he's really not too far behind you. You hear about fighters, who are more choosy about like the opponents they get once they get into those rankings. That doesn't seem like you, is it?
No, I know that, like, in the end of the day, all these rankings are just, kind of, it's just whoever they just always, it's some people just picking whoever they think. But I know that Benoit Saint Denis is one of the best fighters in the division, and he's got a lot of momentum, and he's got a lot of hype right now. And those are the kind of things that excite me. I want fights that really excite me, and this is one of them.
You were angling, of course, for the Paddy Pimblett fight. It didn't get there for you. I mean, it was a clear call out. You made it very clear you wanted him for a while. Any disappointment that it didn't come to fruition? Maybe still you angling for it, maybe for next year, or are you kind of moving on?
I'm completely focused on Benoit now. It would have been nice, for me and him at MSG. I think that would have been an awesome fight. But I think that we've got a real a real tough opponent in front of us now. A guy that nobody wants to fight. He's almost the boogeyman of the division. He's not technically ranked, but he's right on the cusp, and he's on a 4-fight finishing streak, and that's what excites me again. And Paddy Pimblett, he took the easy way out. He's fighting a guy who's on a 6-fight losing streak. Hopefully Paddy wins, and that fight can get made down the road.
Obviously, we know how your thoughts are on the Tony Ferguson fight. Then I was just about to ask you that too. It doesn't seem like you think much of Tony's chances. Am I wrong there? Or?
I mean, Tony is an amazing fighter. He's just it's past his time. He's every father time is undefeated, and I think that Tony is past that his fighting time now, and they're really just trying to feed him to Paddy to try to like build up Paddy a little bit more.
Do you have any rooting interest? Would you actually be rooting against Paddy, or do you not care?
Yeah, I don't care. I'm definitely interested in the fight. But I mean, honestly, I'd probably want Paddy to win just because I want to be the guy to beat him. If Paddy wins, it just makes our fight bigger down the road. But I wouldn't be surprised Maybe Tony is an amazing fighter. He's older, but I wouldn't be surprised if Tony could get it done. It's an interesting fight.
I'm sure you talk about Paddy enough. You're enough about Paddy, but I got to ask you about Ray Longo. Always corners you, amazing coach, well known, Hall of Fame level coach. He just had hip surgery over the summer. How's he doing?
He's doing great. He's back in the gym. He's back walking around. He's gonna hold pads for me tomorrow, he said. Even he was back in the gym like probably like 3 weeks, 4 weeks out from his surgery, and just still like walking around, and he's amazing, man. And I'm glad that he got that hip surgery, and he's recovering, and he's really turning the corner now.
That's good to hear. That's good to hear. And of course, he's got a few guys that he's got a corner at UFC 295 alongside you. Your teammates, Denis Bezukia is fighting Jamal Emmers, Nazim Sadikov fighting Vyacheslav Borshev. You're all 145, 155. I imagine you do a lot of training together. What's training like for you three?
Oh man, it's amazing. We've been talking about this for a while now. Since Nas got in, since Bazooka got into the UFC, we're all like, all right, we're all gonna get on this fight at MSG, and we spoke this into existence, and now it's the time. We're all on the same card. We're all at Madison Square Garden, and the vibes and the energy at the gym for this whole fight camp has just been amazing. It's always awesome going through a fight camp with your teammates, and we all lean on each other, pick each other up when we need it, and we're all planning on going in there and getting 3 big wins, and it's going to be a great night for the team.
Now, Sadikov, both of these guys are, of course, newer to the roster. Sadikov picked up, he's already 2-0, I believe, in the UFC, but he picked up a win just recently over the last guy to beat you, Terrence McKinney. That must have felt nice for your team, right?
Yeah, definitely. And I was in his corner for that fight too. Helped him out all camp, and yeah, that was a big win for us.
Of course, of course. And then Denis Bezukia made his debut with short notice over the summer. Didn't go his way. What should fans expect from him now that we get to see him with a full training camp? This time.
Oh, you're gonna see an amazing fighter. Bazooka has been, in the gym for years. I remember him as an amateur coming up in the gym, just knocking people out. He's so talented, so explosive, and he's got a fire in his eyes right now. And him and Nas and myself, we're all working so hard. We're all going to be 100% prepared, and I'm excited for the Albanian people. Bazooka brings an amazing crowd, amazing people with him, and he's definitely both. All of us, we all have championship potential. So it's gonna be a bright future for the Sarah Longo fight team.